I wonder if LeBron's going to stick around for Bryce James.
Yeah.
You see, that's the real hard-hitting questions. This is why you guys have 10,000 followers on Instagram. You ask the questions that the people want. And I'm going to be honest with you.
Hey, guys, welcome back to Kids Sports Reporters. We're here with NBC NBA sportscaster Noah Eagle.
Okay, first question. Oh, hello.
I just wanted to say what's up. And more than anything, I also wanted to say an official congratulations on 10,000 Instagram followers.
Wait, we hit 10K?
We hit 10K?
You have hit 10K. This is your official notification. That is a big, big accomplishment. And it's really only the beginning in my book because I'm excited for 20K and then 30K and then eventually 100K because this is a train that's only going one direction, and that's forward.
It would be awesome if we got more than 10K.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Of course.
Who do you think will win the West?
So I actually had one of my close friends ask me this a couple weeks ago. His question was, if you had to pick, would you take Oklahoma City or the field in the Western Conference?
OKC.
I said, well, you see,
OKC.
If I had to choose, I would take Oklahoma City because you just don't see many teams over the course of the history of the NBA that have won 68 games and don't at least win their conference. So that's the rationale behind it. Here's what I will say, though. Look, I think Oklahoma City's experience in the playoffs last year is certainly going to help them this year. They really got a taste of what it's like. They got a taste of winning a series. They got a taste of losing a series. And so now they've got that base. You also bring in Alex Caruso, who's an NBA champion, who's experienced the highs of the highs. And you bring in Isaiah Hartenstein, who we saw last year during the Knicks playoff run, was just spectacular. And so those are perfect pieces to add to the fold of what they already had. However, this year's Western Conference is loaded, and I mean loaded. And there are teams, both teams, Well, in the West alone, though, I would take both LA teams are playing at an extraordinarily high level right now. You've got Denver, who's got Jokic. You've got Minnesota, who's got Ant-Man. Not to mention the Rockets, who are the 2 seed, and the Warriors, who are now the 7 seed and are as dangerous as anybody with Jimmy Butler. So, again, if I had to choose, I'm taking Oklahoma City, but I'm not necessarily feeling super, super confident about it.
Yeah, I think the Warriors are going to win the West because I think they have the best 1-2 punch in the NBA with Steph and Jimmy, and those two are probably 2 of the best players when they're in the playoffs, and Draymond's really good. I think the Warriors can actually win the championship.
So Steph and Jimmy as a 1-2 punch over Luka and LeBron?
Yes. Okay,
Steph and Jimmy as a 1-2 punch over Harden and Kawhi?
Yes.
All right, Steph and Jimmy over Shea and Jalen Williams or Chet? Okay. Yes. All right, I respect it. I really do.
Yeah, so if they can play good, I think the Warriors can win the championship.
Jalen Brown and Tatum's also a good 1-2 punch.
Yeah.
No doubt. Listen, you got Brown and Tatum in the East. You've got Donovan Mitchell, and pick your number 2 between
Darius Garland and Evan Mobley.
Correct. I mean, Jared Allen's a former All-Star. You've got Giannis and Dame if Dame is healthy, which it sounds like he's getting closer and closer to being. You've got Brunson and Karl Anthony Towns. I mean, we've got a lot of really good 1-2 punches around the NBA, and it's a different departure from what we used to have, which was big threes. When you think about the Boston Celtics with Garnett, Pierce, and Allen, think about the Miami Heat with LeBron, D. Wade, and Bosh. You think about, eventually when in Cleveland with Kyrie and Kevin Love, it was big threes, Durant, Steph, Klay Thompson, big 3. It's a departure now. We have really dynamic duos, which I think creates a little more parity around the league.
Who will win the East? My opinion's the Cavs.
I think the Cavs.
I would tell you the Celtics would be my pick on that. They're championship driven. They did it last year. They've been battle tested. They know how to get there. They get to the conference finals, it feels like, just about every year. They feel to me a lot like the Chiefs in the AFC, where everybody is chasing them and people get really close, and everybody every year says, well, I don't know, maybe something. And then the Chiefs always find their way, right? Yes. I just feel like the Celtics are similar. They're really good. They're really balanced, and they play together in the right way. So at least for right now, it would be hard for me to envision somebody beating them. I think the Cavs have the best chance to do it. I think the Knicks could catch fire. The problem is with the Knicks that I would be concerned with is they're just not as deep as maybe those other two teams. And so do you run out of gas at some point down the stretch in the playoffs? But I think it's going to be a lot of fun. I think especially once you get to the second round of the Eastern Conference, it has a chance to be a really fun playoffs because even let's say a team like Indiana advances and plays Boston, a lot of those games in the conference finals last year were tight and Boston just prevailed late. But you got to imagine this is an Indiana team that's playing with a lot of confidence, the way they've played over the last couple months of the season. Tyrese Halliburton is still one of the best point guards in the NBA. Pascal Siakam is still a multi-time All-Star. So it's not an easy matchup necessarily for Boston if we get that. And then you could get the Knicks and the Knicks and the Celtics. You could get the Cavs and the Pacers, and maybe the Cavs beat them, and now the Cavs and the Celtics go to the conference finals. I think it's fascinating to watch all of it, but my pick would be the Celtics.
That's crazy.
I think the Cavs because Donovan Mitchell, Darius Garland, Evan Mobley, all three of them are all-stars, and they're also great players. So I just think the Cavs can go far.
Listen, man, if we get both one seeds in the finals, that'll be a great finals matchup. So I'll have no issues with it.
All right. Now, who will win the championship?
I guess I have to stick with what I was preaching before, which is the team that won 68 games and the Thunder win it. But I don't feel super confident. And I do think if they go up against Boston, that would be a really tough matchup for them. But it also is kind of against everything I believe in as a New Yorker to choose Boston to win anything. I don't think I'm allowed to do that. I actually think I get banished from the city of New York if I admit out loud that I'm choosing Boston to win a championship. So I can't do it. So I guess I'm going to have to stamp Oklahoma City in that sense and just ride out this 68-win team. If it's not them in the West, the team that I'm looking at, and it's a somewhat biased opinion, but the Clippers, they're playing better than anybody right now. And if they can somehow win the West, they can win the whole thing.
My opinion is I think OKC beats the Cavs in the championship.
I'm going to say...
I say it goes to game 6, and OKC beats them.
All right. So I'm going to say this is going to be a rematch of the 2015, 16, 17, and 18 championship. I'm going to say Warriors-Cavs, but without LeBron on the Cavs, obviously. And I'm going to say the Warriors win it in 7.
Wow. Warriors. Steph gets his 5th. Draymond gets his 5th.
Yes.
Kevon Looney gets another ring. Steve Kerr cements himself. That would be a heck of a story. I can tell you that much.
Yes. Okay. Next question. Who will win the regular season MVP?
Shai Gilgeous-Alexander will win it. And it'll be close with Nikola Jokic. Now, again, I think these are very interesting conversations to have because if you're asking who's the best player in the world, it's Nikola Jokic every single time. I don't think there's much of a debate about it. But if you're asking who's going to win the MVP, again, you have to value somebody who led their team to 68 wins. You just have to do it. And look, Denver winning 50 games this year is really impressive considering the injury stuff they had, considering the turmoil they had with head coach and general manager, both now being fired in the final week of the season. That just doesn't happen to a team that wins 50 games. You could say the same about the Memphis Grizzlies. However, despite how amazing Nikola Jokic is in the season that he's had, which is historic, I would tell you that Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is almost not getting enough credit for how well he's played. He's had his own historic season by all the efficiency measurements and landscapes, by all the advanced metrics, by just the overall eye test. He's been unstoppable. And he's led a team that's top 5 in offense and defense and is number 1 in the NBA in record. And so I think you have to value it.
Yeah, he's going to be MVP.
No, I think Jokic will win MVP. He's averaging a triple-double. Averaging like 29 points, 10 rebounds.
So
12 rebounds.
Shai had 54 points, and he's way more talented than Jokic.
No. Let's not do that. Let's not do that. Well, listen, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, if you're starting a team, he is one of the top 3 guys you're taking with that number 1 pick. But Nikola Jokic is still number 1. He's the best player in the world. Yeah. But Shai is going to be the MVP this year.
No, Shai. I think Nikola Jokic.
It's Shai.
Yeah, they'll give it to Shai because Jokic has already won it enough and people are tired. But I still think he deserves MVP.
I think there's a great argument made for it. I think that's what makes this year's race so fun is it's a clear two-player race. Some years you've got 3 or 4. This is a clear 2-player race. And I think what you said is somewhat accurate that Jokic has already won 3 of them. And if he wins a fourth, he's in a very different stratosphere. Doesn't mean he doesn't deserve this fourth one. I just think that Shea is also as deserving. And so the tie goes to the guy who won 68 games and not the one who won 50.
Yeah, exactly. Who do you think is the most improved NBA player?
So this one is interesting because I actually think there are a lot of guys you can look at. And I also believe that the most improved, a lot of times it goes to a young guy who maybe didn't meet expectations early and then found his way. There's also and we've seen it a little bit more recently, the guy who was a really good player and then make the bump up to an all-star. John Morant won it. And I think a lot of people are arguing that Cade Cunningham could win it this year. I wouldn't go with Cade. I think to me it's between two guys. It's either going to be Dyson Daniels from the Atlanta Hawks or it's Ivica Zubac from the LA Clippers. And if you look at what Ivica Zubac has done this year, he averaged 17 and 12 and a half rebounds. He led the NBA in total rebounding.
Yeah, he's great.
The defensive anchor on a team that was number 3 in the NBA in defensive efficiency. And he's just been so solid. He's there every single day for them. And they needed him to take a step so that they could be the team that they knew they were capable of. And he did. They lose Paul George. And so everybody starts saying, Norman Powell said addition by subtraction when they lost Paul George after last season. And people were like, what does that mean? Well, Ivica Zubac understood what it meant. It was addition for his playing time, addition for his opportunity, and he took advantage of it. And so if I were a voter, I probably would go with Zubac, but I could really understand the Dyson Daniels thing because he had a just tremendous season on both sides of the ball.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so who win the finals MVP?
Well, if I'm going with Oklahoma City, then I'm going to have to go with Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. But I would love for it to be a surprise one. For example, the first Warriors title in 2015, Andre Iguodala wins it. I would love for it to be something like that because Isaiah Hartenstein just had this massive series rebounding the basketball, or Alex Caruso came in and changed the complexion of the series. But in all likelihood, if you're going to choose a team, you're going to probably choose their best player, and that's why I'll stick with Shai.
I kind of want Donovan Mitchell to win it. I think he's pretty fire.
Yeah.
He's great. He's another one that's really fun to watch up close. He's just dynamic.
His dunks are just too good.
Incredible. Yeah, incredible. Unfortunately, we were in college at the same time, and Donovan had a crazy dunk against my Syracuse Orange in the Dome, and I'll never forget how I felt after. It felt like he completely just blew up the whole team. And Louisville ended up winning by maybe 20 points because of it.
Yeah, I think the 3 best dunkers are Donovan Mitchell, and Ant-Man, yeah.
I mean, those are really good options. And you still got guys like Derrick Jones Jr. who are a little off the radar. Aaron Gordon back in his day was pretty special.
LeBron too.
LeBron at his peak, that's why I'm still upset that LeBron never did the dunk contest, because at his peak, he was jumping higher than anybody in the league. His head was more than – he was looking down at the rim. It was crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, although Wemby can just, dunk it on his tippy toes.
Yeah, he doesn't even need to jump. Yeah, he doesn't even need to jump.
What's your all-time starting 5?
Well, I would say Steph is now the point guard. For years, I would tell you that it was Magic. And I think over the last year plus, Steph has surpassed Magic to me as the guy that I would want on the floor. He's just so dynamic in so many ways. And the shooting is one thing. Just the threat of him on the outside opens things up for everybody. He's a great passer, great finisher, great ball handler. So I'll put Steph, Michael Jordan, LeBron James.
Yeah.
I'll go Tim Duncan. And the center would be tough.
Kareem?
I would lean Kareem. Yeah, I would lean Kareem. But Shaq is in that mix. Hakeem is in that mix.
Bill Russell.
Bill Russell.
I'd probably do the same thing.
But yeah, I'd go Kareem.
What is the best part about being an announcer?
Well, I think my favorite part is that every day is different. You just don't really know what you're going to get every single day. And then, for anybody who's a sports fan like we are, it's being at the events. And the fact that I get to sit courtside at NBA and college basketball games and see the best players in the world go head to head. And I get to sit at the 50-yard line at NFL and college football games and get to watch the best players go head to head. And same for tennis and any sport that I get to be at. And so if you're a big sports fan and this is what you eventually want to do, that's really the goal, is to be at big events. And I've been fortunate to do it.
Yeah, that's why we love going to big events. It's just so fun.
Meet all the players.
And we get to watch It's just so fun, yeah.
How excited are you to be NBC's NBA announcer?
Well, I can't wait. You know, guys, the NBA has always been a massive passion of mine from a young age. Yeah, I got to watch my dad be a part of the New Jersey Nets and then eventually the Brooklyn Nets organization now for over 30 years and go with him to games growing up. And I was sitting there, I would go to games in the 2009 2010 season when the Nets won 12 games total in the year. They went 12-70 on the season. And I went to probably 14 or 15 of those games because I just loved the NBA so much. And I wanted to see even E. Janlian and Courtney Lee and Bobby Simmons and Jarvis Hayes and Terrence Williams go to battle. I just loved it that much. And so full circle for me, you know, getting to work with the Clippers when I first graduated from college for 4 years and now getting to work with the Nets the last 2 years, being back in the NBA full time is always a good thing in my book. And the NBA and NBC was really the very beginning of my childhood. And so to come full circle and be a part of what it looks like now is really, really cool for me. So I just can't wait to get started.
Yeah.
I want to be an NBA announcer.
Oh, yeah. Well, it'll be waiting for you when the time is right.
Yeah, that would be, it seems pretty fun.
Yeah.
Oh, it's the best, guys. There's nothing quite like being up close to seeing Anthony Edwards sky for a crazy dunk or Luka Doncic come with a crazy step back three.
Or Steph Curry from half court.
Well, I'm going to be honest with you guys. I think, this is just me talking, I don't think that there's a better show in all of sports than Steph Curry, period.
Yeah.
And that's him even right now. But for his whole career, I think that's been the case.
Yeah, you're 100% right.
Yeah.
Okay,
next question. Who is the most fun player to watch?
Well, Steph is certainly one of them. And I got a chance to see him. Well, I got a chance to see him during the Olympics when he had the crazy, massive finish against France in the gold medal game. And that's hard to top. But outside of Steph, I do think Anthony Edwards is high on that list, especially when he's attacking the basket. He led the league
definitely
this year. I mean, the guy's insane. He's just got the entire package at his disposal. And then the new one is Victor Wembanyama. And when you see Wemby up close, because you see him on TV and I think it's crazy, but when you see him up close in person, guys, it's a different experience. I've never seen anything quite like that. So he's going to be high on the list as well.
Yeah, my favorite players are probably Shea and Ant-Man as well. They're so good.
I like watching probably Steph, and I like watching LeBron because he's good at attacking the basket and shooting outside.
And
I mean, you guys are getting this version of LeBron. Can you imagine when LeBron was in his early 20s or mid, when he was Anthony Edwards' age, and that's when I was growing up and going to games? He was a different beast altogether. He was just a different level of athleticism that no one could touch on the court. It was pretty crazy.
I wonder if LeBron's going to stick around for Bryce James.
Yeah.
You see, that's the real hard-hitting questions. This is why you guys have 10,000 followers on Instagram. You ask the questions that the people want. And I'm going to be honest with you. I'm not sure he will. I think let's think about this. Next year for LeBron James will be his 23rd season in the NBA. He's number 23, right? That's been, for the majority of his career, his number. I think he's a big symbolic type of guy. I think he's a big, celebration type of guy. If it were me and I were a betting man, which I very much am not, I think he understands that it's the next generation of the Lakers with Luka Doncic coming in. I think he does one more year and then he calls it quits. But listen, LeBron is also somebody who likes to surprise everybody. So it wouldn't shock me if he decides after that year, you know what? I still got another one in me and Bryce is going to be there. Let me just ride it out and see if I can get it done.
Yeah, that would be really cool if you got to play with both of his sons.
All right, thank you.
Yeah, thank you.